You want to know the real reason your life hasn't transformed yet. It's not because of your family, your government, your job, your circumstances, or your luck. It's because you've been negotiating with your own weakness for far too long. You've built a habit of letting yourself off the hook. You've built comfort around blame. And the truth is harsh but necessary until you take full, brutal, no escape accountability for every part of your life. You will never take control of it. Accountability is the moment you stop running from the mirror. And most men spend their entire lives sprinting away from that reflection because it exposes everything they're pretending doesn't exist. It exposes the wasted hours, the bad habits, the lack of discipline, the lies you tell yourself to feel better about not doing what you know you should do. Accountability removes the illusion. It forces you to admit that your future is shaped by your choices, not your excuses. You need to speak to yourself the way a commander speaks to his soldiers. Direct, uncompromising, no softness, no sugarcoating. Wake up and say, everything I have in my life right now, I allowed. Everything I don't have, I didn't earn. This level of honesty is painful, but that pain is the exact spark that ignites transformation. People who avoid accountability stay stuck because they cling to comfort, and comfort is the worst addiction a man can fall into. It dulls your ambition, blinds you to your potential, and makes you believe your average life is acceptable. But there is nothing acceptable about ignoring who you were meant to be. When you adopt full accountability, you start seeing patterns that were always there but hidden behind excuses. You notice how easily you get distracted, how quickly you give up when something feels uncomfortable, how often you say, tomorrow, as if time owes you more opportunities. You begin to see that the version of you who isn't succeeding is not a victim. He's simply undisciplined. And once you see that truth, you can't unsee it. It starts haunting you every time you waste a minute, every time you say you're tired, every time you let fear or laziness control your actions. The world rewards the accountable because they're the only ones who can be trusted to execute. When you eliminate excuses, you eliminate the mental escape routes that keep you mediocre. You stop hiding behind circumstances and begin shaping circumstances. You stop depending on motivation and start relying on character. Every win becomes yours. Every loss becomes yours. Every setback becomes a lesson you convert into progress. Nobody can take credit for your success, and nobody can be blamed for your failure. That level of power is terrifying for the weak, but liberating for the strong. The truth is, nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody is coming to build your discipline, to create your opportunities, to hand you the life you want. And if they did, you wouldn't appreciate it because you didn't earn it. Real transformation begins the moment you realize you are not a passenger in your own life. You are the driver. You are the architect. You are the force that determines the direction of your future. Every excuse you remove becomes a brick laid in the foundation of the life you want. Full accountability strips away the illusions and gives you clarity. It forces you to acknowledge that the person you fear, the person you admire, the person you want to become, he's already inside you, buried under years of excuses and wasted potential. And the moment you decide to eliminate those excuses, that version of you starts breaking through. He becomes louder, stronger, more present. He starts guiding your decisions. He starts shaping your identity. He starts taking control, and once you taste that level of control, you never want to go back. If accountability is the moment you stop lying to yourself, then discipline is the moment you stop betraying yourself. And this is where most people fail because they treat discipline like a tool instead of a lifestyle. They think discipline is something you turn on when you feel inspired, something you use when the timing is convenient, something you grab when you're in trouble. But discipline isn't a switch, it's an identity. It's who you become when comfort is no longer an option and excuses no longer make sense. The reason most people never transform is because they wait for motivation, and motivation is the most unreliable friend you'll ever have. Motivation shows up when life feels exciting, then disappears the moment things get difficult. Discipline stays. Discipline is loyalty to your future self, even when your present self wants comfort. Discipline is the voice that says, get up, when your mind says, rest. Discipline is the force that makes you execute, even when you don't want to, even when nobody is watching, even when the reward feels far away. Discipline is the proof that you are serious about becoming powerful. And here's the truth nobody likes to hear at the beginning. Discipline will feel like suffering. It will feel like war. Your mind will try to negotiate with you. It will tell you to slow down, take it easy, skip the task just this once. It will whisper every soft lie it can to keep you exactly where you are, because your current identity is built on comfort, and comfort hates growth. But the moment you push through the resistance, the moment you do the hard thing instead of the easy one, you begin reshaping your identity at a level deeper than most people will ever understand. Discipline is what creates separation between the average and the exceptional. It's the invisible force that builds momentum when everyone else is stuck. Discipline is waking up early not because it's pleasant, but because you said you would. It's turning off distractions not because you feel like it, but because you know who you're trying to become. It's working on your craft when others are wasting their evenings. It's honoring your goals when nobody is clapping for you. It's showing up day after day, stacking effort upon effort until the world has no choice but to recognize the results you built in silence. When you become disciplined, you stop living reactively. You stop letting time happen to you. You stop falling victim to your emotions. Discipline gives you structure. It gives you power. It gives you control over your impulses, your habits, your tendencies. Instead of being a man who gets dragged by his moods, you become a man who moves because he decided to move. You become predictable to yourself, and that consistency becomes the single greatest weapon you carry into the new year. The strongest men aren't the ones who feel motivated. They are the ones who act with precision even when every part of them wants to rest. They understand that discipline is not supposed to feel good in the beginning. It's supposed to challenge you, break you, humble you, and rebuild you. Every disciplined action is a contract you sign with your future. Every time you follow through, you deposit power into the man you are becoming. And every time you break discipline, you steal from that future and hand it back to your former self. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about identity. It's about deciding that you are no longer someone who quits, no longer someone who lowers his standards, no longer someone who folds the moment things get uncomfortable. Discipline means you become the kind of man whose actions reflect his ambition, not his feelings. It means you stop chasing pleasure and start chasing purpose. It means your habits become sharper than your doubts, your routines become stronger than your excuses, your standards become higher than your comfort. And the beautiful, brutal truth is this: discipline compounds. What feels hard today becomes normal tomorrow. What feels heavy today becomes effortless next month. The actions that once felt impossible become part of who you are. At that point, discipline stops being something you practice and becomes something you embody. It becomes the core of your identity. It becomes the reason your life begins shifting in ways others can't understand. It becomes the proof that you are in control. A man becomes powerful the moment he realizes that his environment is not a background, it's a blueprint. The people you spend time with, the energy you allow around you, the conversations you entertain, the habits you witness, the standards you tolerate, all of it shapes you far more than you ever admit. Most people want a new life while staying in the same environment that destroyed the old one. They want growth while swimming in the same pool of mediocrity. They want ambition while surrounding themselves with people who have none. And then they wonder why nothing changes. The truth is brutal but undeniable. Your environment is either building you or breaking you, sharpening you or softening you, pulling you forward or pulling you under. There is no neutral environment. Everything affects you. Every voice influences you. Every friend impacts you. Every room programs you. And if you stay around people who are comfortable being average, they will subconsciously teach you to settle. You have to look at your circle with honesty, not nostalgia. Ask yourself one simple question: does the energy around me match the life I want? Most of the time, the answer is no. You're surrounded by people who waste time, complain about problems, justify laziness, and normalize failure. They laugh at discipline, fear ambition, hate responsibility, and get uncomfortable around high standards. These people aren't evil. They're simply not going where you're going. And if you don't distance yourself, you won't go anywhere either. Evolution demands separation. Growth demands distance. If you stay chained to people who refuse to grow, their weight will become yours. Their fear will become yours. Their excuses will become yours. Their self-doubt will become yours. And one day you'll wake up, realize 10 years have passed, and you're still stuck in the same place, living the same patterns, repeating the same days, because you were afraid to let go of the people who were comfortable with your stagnation. But when you upgrade your environment, everything shifts. When you surround yourself with disciplined people, discipline becomes normal. When you surround yourself with ambitious people, ambition becomes your baseline. When you surround yourself with winners, you stop apologizing for wanting to win. You stop shrinking. You stop lowering your standards. High-value people force you to elevate because their presence exposes your potential. They make you uncomfortable in all the right ways. They pressure you to level up simply by existing near you. You need to place yourself in environments where your dreams are not mocked, but magnified. Where your hunger is not questioned, but respected. Where your obsession is not misunderstood, but matched. That environment rewires your thinking. It forces you to expect more from yourself. It forces you to hold yourself accountable. It forces you to step into the identity you've been hiding from, and this isn't just about people, it's also about places. The room you work in affects your discipline. The neighborhood you live in affects your ambition. The sounds, the energy, the atmosphere, everything influences your focus. If your environment is messy, chaotic, noisy, unorganized, uninspiring, it becomes a reflection of your mind. But when you intentionally design your surroundings, you intentionally design your future. Sometimes people hold on to low-value environments because they're familiar, not because they're good. They cling to old friendships because they fear being alone. But solitude is not a weakness. Solitude is a power source. Solitude is where clarity is born. Solitude is where discipline grows. Solitude is where identity is rebuilt. If you can't be alone with your ambition, you'll never survive the journey required to achieve it. Letting go of people doesn't mean you hate them. It means you love your future more. It means you chose growth over comfort. It means you finally realize that loyalty to the wrong environment is the fastest way to bury your potential. The moment you commit to upgrading your surroundings, your standards rise. Your focus sharpens, your habits improve, your thoughts mature. Slowly, you begin to transform into a new version of yourself simply because you remove the old version of your environment. And when you do that, the world notices. Your energy rises, your results shift, your identity strengthens. You start attracting new opportunities, new connections, new goals. Your environment stops holding you back and starts pushing you forward. And for the first time in your life, you see what you were capable of all along. There is one resource that separates the powerful from the powerless, the successful from the forgotten, the disciplined from the drifting, and that resource is time. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose relationships and rebuild them. You can lose opportunities and create new ones. But the hours you waste, the days you dilute, the weeks you throw away because you lacked focus, those never return. And the harsh truth is this: you are not where you want to be because you have been irresponsible with the most valuable currency you will ever own. Time is the great equalizer, but it is also the great separator. Every person on earth wakes up with the same 24 hours, yet some build empires while others scroll their lives away. Some conquer goals while others drown in distraction. Some use time like a weapon while others use it like a toy. The difference isn't intelligence, talent, or luck. The difference is urgency. The difference is intention. The difference is how seriously you value the minutes that make up your life. Most people treat time like it's unlimited. They wake up late, slow to start, mind fogged with hesitation, drowning their mornings in pointless noise. They move through the day without strategy, reacting to everything, choosing comfort over momentum, and then collapsing at night complaining that life feels repetitive and empty. Of course it does. They spent the day leaking time. They spent the day giving their attention to anyone and anything that asked for it. They spent the day being owned by distractions instead of owning their schedule. Mastering your time begins with one realization: your attention is your life. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Every notification you check, every pointless conversation you entertain, every hour spent scrolling through other people's lives is energy stolen from your own growth. You can't build a powerful life with a distracted mind. You can't create a disciplined future with chaotic time management. You can't become the strongest version of yourself while living as a servant to interruptions. You need to reclaim control. Time must become non-negotiable. You must treat every hour like a soldier in your army, trained, directed, and used with purpose. When you begin assigning your hours instead of letting them disappear, you become a different creature. You move with clarity. You act with precision. You wake up with intention instead of confusion. You begin to feel momentum, a force pulling you forward instead of backward. Most people don't realize how much time they waste because their habits have normalized their own downfall. They say things like, "I'll start later," because they believe later belongs to them. They say, "I'm tired," because they believe rest is earned before effort. They say, "I'll do it tomorrow," because they assume tomorrow is guaranteed. But every hour wasted today creates regret tomorrow. Every postponed action becomes a delayed life. Every second you give away willingly becomes a chain that binds your future. When you truly master your time, something powerful happens. You stop feeling overwhelmed. Because overwhelm is not caused by tasks. It's caused by randomness. It's caused by lack of structure. It's caused by trying to fit ambition into a day full of distractions. But once you organize your time, once you prioritize your energy, once you cut the noise and elevate your focus, everything becomes simpler. Not easier, but clearer. And clarity is the foundation of power. You have to become ruthless with your time. That means reducing mindless entertainment, limiting conversations that add no value, cutting back on environments that drain you, and minimizing anything that doesn't move you closer to your goals. It means saying no more often. It means protecting your mornings, treating them like sacred hours where your discipline sets the tone for your entire day. It means recognizing that the world benefits from your distraction, but your future benefits from your discipline, and eventually, when time becomes your ally, results begin to multiply. You achieve in 6 months what others can achieve in 6 years. You create opportunities that previously felt impossible. You build habits without friction. You move through life with purpose instead of panic. People start to wonder how you're progressing so fast, how you're evolving so consistently, how you're achieving so much while they're stagnant. They don't see the sacrifices. They don't see the discipline. They don't see the hours you protected. They don't see the battles you fought against distraction. They don't see the version of you who chose focus over comfort every single day. Mastering time isn't about filling every hour with work. It's about eliminating every hour of waste. It's about aligning your days with your purpose. It's about becoming intentional with every minute. Because you finally understand that time is not simply something you spend, it's something you invest. And what you invest in determines the life you build. When we talk about transformation, people always imagine something dramatic. They think it's going to come with fireworks, with a sudden wave of motivation, with the universe sending a clear sign. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. The entire trajectory of your life begins to shift the moment you decide. Not the moment you dream, not the moment you hope, not the moment you talk about it, the moment you decide. Because a real decision is a collision point. It's where your excuses hit a wall. It's where your fears get outvoted. It's where you finally exhaust yourself from running in circles and say, "This is it. Enough." Most people never experience that moment because they're too comfortable living in the almost. They almost change. They almost commit. They almost fix their life. But almost has never built a legacy. Almost has never built a man worth remembering. And this is what separates you from the masses. The willingness to reach that internal breaking point where hesitation dies. You reach a point where remaining the same becomes more painful than the unknown. That is when change becomes inevitable. And here's what most people don't understand: a decision is not loud. It doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need to be posted online. It doesn't need validation. Real decisions are quiet. They happen alone in the moments where you look at yourself with brutal honesty. They happen when you're brushing your teeth at midnight thinking about how much time you've wasted. They happen when you're driving home in silence, replaying the same disappointments. They happen in the mornings when you stare at your reflection and realize you don't even recognize the man you've become. And something inside you snaps, something whispers, change. Now, That whisper is everything. Because the moment you choose a new identity, your mind begins working overtime to catch up. Suddenly, the things you tolerated start to feel unbearable. The distractions that once entertained you feel childish. The habits you hid behind start to disgust you. This is the power of a decision. It rewires your internal standards instantly. And when your standards rise, your entire life is forced to rise with them. You stop chasing motivation and start chasing progress. You stop negotiating with your emotions and start negotiating with your potential. You stop waiting for the perfect time and start creating the time. Every step you take after that is fueled by a different energy. It's no longer about, can I do this? It becomes, I am doing this. The identity shift comes first. The actions follow. The results arrive later. But everything starts with that internal declaration people often ask, how do I stay consistent? The answer is simple. When your decision is real, consistency becomes automatic. Think about someone who decides they are done being weak. They don't need to hype themselves up every morning. Their identity demands action. Or someone who decides they will no longer live in financial stress. They don't need motivation to work harder. Their identity refuses to accept anything less. When you truly decide, discipline stops being a chore and becomes a requirement of who you are becoming. Look at anyone who has changed their life drastically. At some point, they reached that moment of clarity. They saw their future clearly enough to fight for it, and they saw their past clearly enough to walk away from it. They didn't need applause. They didn't need encouragement. They didn't need people to believe in them. They just needed the courage to say, I'm done living like this, and that moment, your moment, is powerful enough to rewrite your entire story. It's the moment you take back control after years of drifting. It's the moment you stop blaming the world and start building yourself. It's the moment life stops happening to you and starts responding to you. That moment is where every man's comeback begins. That moment is where identity shifts, habits evolve, and new futures are built. That moment right there is the true beginning of transformation. There comes a point in every man's life when he has to decide who he wants to be. Not who he pretends to be, not who he talks about being, but who he is willing to become through struggle, through sacrifice, and through relentless pressure. Because greatness does not grow in comfort. It is forged the same way diamonds are forged, under pressure so intense it would break anything weak. And that's exactly why pressure shows up in your life. Not to destroy you, but to expose you, to reveal whether you are built for something higher or destined to remain ordinary. Most people run from pressure because they've been taught to fear it. They've been taught that stress is bad, that struggle is unfair, that difficulty means something is wrong. But the truth is the opposite. Pressure is a sign that you're moving. Pressure is a sign that you're climbing. Pressure is the natural tax you pay when you refuse to live small. Every dream worth having demands pressure. Every goal worth achieving demands discomfort. Every man worth respecting has scars to prove he endured what weaker men avoided. And here's the twist. Pressure doesn't just test you. It transforms you. Every challenge you've ever faced has carved something into you. Every setback has built something inside you. Every moment you thought you couldn't continue but still kept going has rewritten the boundaries of your strength. Pressure is the sculptor that shapes the man you are becoming. And right now, even if you don't realize it, your life is giving you exactly the pressure you need to rise to your next level. When people say they want to be strong, this is what strength requires. When people say they want to be successful, this is what success demands. When people say they want respect, this is where respect is earned. Not in the easy days, not when everything is going your way, but when you're under pressure so heavy it forces you to confront who you really are. Your character is not measured by how you behave when life is smooth. It's measured by what you choose when everything becomes difficult and pressure gives you choices. You can fold under it, or you can forge under it. You can let it crush you, or you can let it carve you. You can run from it, or you can rise because of it. What separates champions from the masses isn't talent. It's how they respond when the weight of life sits on their shoulders and refuses to move. Champions lean into the pressure. They use it. They convert it into fuel, into discipline, into hunger. They understand that pressure is temporary, but what it builds inside you lasts forever. Think about the moments in your life when you grew the most. They weren't the moments of comfort. They were the moments where you had no choice but to adapt, to level up, to push through. They were the nights you couldn't sleep because the stress was overwhelming. They were the mornings you woke up feeling defeated, but forced yourself to stand anyway. They were the failures that embarrassed you, the losses that broke your pride, the setbacks that made you question everything. Those moments, the heavy ones, were preparing you for the man you are becoming. Pressure is also honest. It exposes your weaknesses without mercy. It shows you what needs improvement. It shines a spotlight on the habits you've been avoiding, the fears you've been hiding, the responsibilities you've been delaying. Pressure will tell you the truth long before success does. And that honesty is priceless because you can't fix what you refuse to see. The pressure in your life right now is not punishment. It's information. It's instruction. It's an invitation to rise, and the most powerful thing about pressure is this: you grow into the kind of man who can handle it. The more you lean into it, the more capacity you build. The more capacity you build, the more life you can carry. And the more life you can carry, the higher you rise. This is why some men are trusted with greatness while others aren't. Greatness requires weight. It requires a back strong enough to hold responsibility, discipline, vision, and leadership. Pressure is the training ground for that strength. The truth is, you'll never escape pressure, not if you're chasing something meaningful. But you can learn to adapt to it. You can learn to thrive in it. You can learn to see it not as an obstacle, but as a signal that you are on the right path. Pressure is the universe's way of saying, keep going. This is where you grow. And the moment you stop fearing it is the moment you start becoming the man capable of carrying the life you want. In the end, everything you want, everything you dream of, everything you imagine for your life comes down to one truth: no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to hand you discipline or fortune or resilience or purpose. It is your responsibility to build it, to claim it, to fight for it. The world does not reward potential. It rewards execution. It rewards the man who shows up when he's tired, who works when no one applauds, who keeps going when it would be easier to quit. That man earns the life he wants because he refuses to settle for the one he was handed. You have heard every truth you needed. You have seen the parts of yourself you've ignored, the weaknesses you've avoided, the habits that have been dragging your future down. You cannot unhear this. You cannot unknow this. From this point on, you either rise to meet the standard you now understand, or you continue living below the life that could be yours. And deep down, you know which path calls to you. Comfort has never inspired you. Safety has never fulfilled you. You are built for something heavier, something greater, something that demands your full power. This is the moment where you decide, not tomorrow, not next week, not when it feels right. Now, you take control by taking responsibility. You take responsibility by taking action. And when you do, the world bends to the man who refuses to bend for it. Your discipline becomes your weapon. Your mindset becomes your armor. Your pressure becomes your teacher. Your transformation becomes unavoidable. This is how powerful men are created: through consistency, through struggle, through the relentless decision to rise every day, no matter how heavy the weight becomes. You have one life. One chance, one shot to build a legacy that outlives you. Stop waiting for permission to become the man you know you're capable of being. The new year is not what gives you power. The date on the calendar means nothing. You give the year power by deciding who you will be inside it. You create the momentum. You create the change. You create the future. And once you decide, truly decide, nothing can stop you. The life you want is not somewhere far away. It's on the other side of discipline, pressure, responsibility, and consistent action. Step into it. Claim it. Become the man you were meant to be.